This is Conversations with Mike Sparks.
Are you concerned with the state of America, your state, your community? Then you're in the right place. State Representative Mike Sparks. He and guests are here to talk about local politics, history, faith, and freedom.
All right, you're listening to Russ Magazine Show, which we've changed the name to Conversation with Mike Sparks recently. I'm so used to saying that for the past 3 years. Jackson, how you doing? Everything good? You know, Randy Allen, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
You got Dr. Brian Terry, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Got my buddy Roger Thomas, how you doing?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Doing good. And I got Jeremy Smith, our trusted, faithful intern in the back studio. Say hello, Jeremy.
I'm right over here, Mike.
Oh, where you at? Yeah, he's behind me. How you doing?
I'm good. Can't complain, Mike. It's been a great day.
New job coming along great?
Yes, sir.
So you're going to be a park ranger?
We're working towards that. We are working towards that. I recently just had you write me a letter of recommendation for the park manager up there at Reelfoot Lake State Park to Ranger Alicia Odell. Actually,
Oh, really?
she actually got married just recently. So yeah.
Need to get Brian Terry to write one too.
Yeah, I mean,
It helps.
Hey, yeah.
TDEC says that I ought to be like an unofficial spokesperson because I try to go hiking a lot.
Yeah.
And,
Hey, I'll get your
walking,
contact
yeah.
information at the end. So yeah.
Absolutely.
We got some beautiful parks, don't we?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I'm surprised I didn't start hiking sooner in my life. We were out, I guess, in Knoxville doing some hiking out there, and or out in the Smoky Mountains, out in that area, and we saw somebody that day hiking by themselves, and my daughter was, that's kind of odd, somebody hiking by themselves, and I was like, no, they're a quick learner.
Yeah. Well,
peaceful and just.
Clark Boyd just hiked the Appalachian Trail or something.
Oh wow!
Do you know about that?
No, I did not. No.
I mean, I don't know how far he went, but that's what his assistant was telling me.
Oh yeah, well, that's a good deal.
Yeah. Well, before we get started, it was the Frank Caperton, who was a friend of all of ours, passed away 2 years ago yesterday. So the idea I had was to kind of pay a tribute to Frank, and about everybody in the county knew Frank Caperton, and it just goes to show you never know. We're not promised tomorrow, and Frank really made a strong difference in the community. So I think his wife Laura is going to call it, I think, about 5:18. Then Andrew Farah is calling at 10:30, and then I got Edith Moore going to call about 10:40. So we're going to try to juggle all this and make it happen. And I wanted to get you, Brian. You're going to talk about something really important coming up here in the next few days.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you having me on. And yet, thinking about Frank, before I tell you about the little event, I still remember, obviously being in politics, and you get your picture taken here and there all the time. And like I said, Frank either knew everybody or took their picture. Yeah. And I still, to this day, one of the best pictures. I'm not necessarily the most photogenic, but one of the best pictures I had.
I think you're handsome.
Yeah, well, there you go. Thank you. Somebody does. Was Frank took it at an event there at Middle Tennessee Christian School, and but yeah, he was a good dude, and our community was lucky to have him. And when he passed away, we lost the good ones. So, but yeah, looking forward to hearing what you got on that. On the flip side, it is election season coming up here. I was out knocking doors today and this weekend, so I got my steps in, got a little sun. But the Rutherford County GOP is going to be hosting their Get Out the Vote event on July 22nd. It's a Monday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Mike and I are going to be the co-hosts there for that, and we'll have the Young Republicans, Rutherford County Young Republicans will be there, and the Women Republicans of Rutherford County will be there as guests as well. We'll have, candidates are welcome to come on out and, get pamphlets or any material signs. Election starts early voting the 12th through the 27th, and election day on the 1st, and then after that, we have the general election. And it's not just primaries that are out there. I mean, we have the general election for a lot of the county stuff going on. The school boards have that going on. We have city council as well. And so, there's, I think more people are really geared up for the election, the presidential election.
Yeah.
But the things where you can make a difference in everyday lives and in your communities are on these elections that we have here locally. So I encourage everybody to get out and vote and come by the GOP headquarters. It's 111 East Main on July 22nd, Monday, between 6 and 8 p.m.
Who's going to be on the presidential ticket, do you think?
Oh, right now it's a guess. I will tell you for sure on the Republican side, Trump will be the head of the ticket. I don't know who's going to be the vice. And then,
are you watching any? I mean, I really don't bet, but I mean, are you watching any odd makers like Vegas or anything?
Actually,
it'd be interesting.
Believe it or not, I actually started looking at that more than I did the polls, because I don't know that I can believe a poll anymore.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the odds makers seem to have a little bit more of a pulse of what's going to happen.
They don't have no hidden agenda or anything.
They don't, and you can make a poll look at whatever you want.
Exactly.
Depending on who you ask, how much you weight it, how you do the questions, the poll can come out, in your favor however you want.
Yeah. Speaking of knocking on doors, have you ever been bitten by a dog?
No, but I've been chased by a few.
Randy, did you get bit by a dog? Have you really?
I didn't get bit, but I got chased.
Well, I know. Didn't Speaker Harwell? I think she got bit in the hand or something.
Oh, did
she? She did. Yeah.
And then something happened with one lawman. We better not say his name on the radio. He's East Tennessee. He's really country, and I think he shot a dog and killed it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. They chased after him and I think bit him and Anyways,
no. I've been chased. I
haven't had anyone bite me yet.
No,
I haven't been chased. I don't think.
Any of your dogs bit anybody?
No, I was up in Walter Hill. I still remember this a few years ago at some lady's house, and then this big old white dog, I don't even know what it was, came out, and she got in between me and the dog, and get in your car, and
man.
I got her vote, but
you ever run across anybody rude or hateful?
Yeah, that happens.
Randy, did you ever run across them?
Yeah.
Really, a whole lot, Randy?
Quite a few. Just people that are
I'm kidding.
upset with what's going on.
Well, and I feel bad sometimes when you're knocking doors or something and talking about dogs. It's like I didn't hear the doorbell ring, but it rang because you heard the dogs, and then you have to apologize. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I woke up your dogs or something, but you have a good conversation with them, and a lot of people are just kind of stunned that somebody actually is knocking on their door.
We got to be careful of, like somebody, which we've got dogs, and they get all shook up if somebody knocks on the door, and so I went at the door, and I mean it's just chaos at my house, and so I opened the door, and I'm just barely opening it because I don't want my dogs to run out or anything. And the guy's like, "Hey, we're here to give roof bids and expect inspections." I'm like, "Look, man, I'm good." You know what I mean? And my wife, she heard me, and she said, "Were you rude to that guy?" I said, "I wasn't rude to him. I said I don't need a roof." But I have to think when I answer the door, I better make sure I'm polite.
Yeah.
You ever think? Because you get aggravated and you think, you know what, that could be me knocking on that door. That could be when Marvin, my assistant, knocked on, young African American, knocked on 4,000 doors in Smyrna. And let me tell you, faced zero racism. Everybody liked him. He did get pulled over by the cops. You know that story, right? His window wouldn't work. And he got out with his hands up. Yeah, he said the police officer was like, "Sir, you don't need to do that," and they didn't believe he was campaigning for me.
Yeah. Well, that's and when you have like young folks, whether it's high school, or college students or somebody like that, and you don't want them to have people be mean to them or rude to them, and it's like I'm the candidate, I can take it, but the people that are working with you are trying to help you out. You just want them to have a good experience. But they're trying to get experience.
It really is. I mean, I told Marvin, now he's with Office of the Courts, and he's starting law school, and I told him we're going to do this about Frank. He knew Frank, but everybody loved him. I mean, it was, the weird thing here is a young African American. I'll be honest with you, they liked him more than they liked me.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I like Marvin more.
See, I hear that a lot. But he is the type of guy that he's so charismatic, and just such a loving guy. But I've told him that because we were talking about sales and experience. I said, man, you need to go work for what? I said, what car do you like? He said, I really like Lexus. I said, well, go work at Lexus dealership for 3 months and just learn to work with people. But I'm gonna tell you, knocking on doors. It's some great experience. Now, you looking for any volunteers? If somebody wants to help you knock on doors?
Yeah, if they want to, they can contact me.
How do they get hold of you?
You can go on my website or email me.
So you don't want to give out your cell number on the radio?
I can.
What is it?
615-801-2999.
You got to slow down, brother. 615-801-2999. 2999. All right.
Or it's easier, Brian Terry, BRYANTERRY, the number 4, TN@gmail.com.
Right. Brian's going to get on to me after. Right? He's looking at me like, man, you already get a lot of calls as it is, I know. You got a big, your district's huge though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the joke that I say is, I've got the eastern half of Rutherford County, and the 4 you guys have the western half.
And I've got a little quarter, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's but it really, the good thing about running every 2 years, well, the bad thing is you got to run every 2 years, but the good thing is you got to run every 2 years. So you got to be out there talking to people and find out what their issues are. What do you think the biggest issue, the top 3 issues?
Oh, by far, the economy is by far number one issue that I'm hearing. Immigration, and crime.
Yeah.
And then I've been in the north part of the district, and so landfill comes up.
Oh, big
obviously.
Time. Yes.
That's it's always, I mean, regardless in the cycle, the landfill comes up as at the top.
Well, I went through the convenience center today, and hats off to Mayor Carr, County Commissioner Carr Boyd, and Phil Wilson and Anthony Johnson for the improvements out there, and with Bill Kitchen as well, and former county commissioners. But it really is more convenient. I used to call it the inconvenience center, but it was, the recycling's better. I see the guys, taking things that aren't supposed to be recycled, throwing people, they're picking through there. So, but I thank God I don't have a landfill in my district, man.
But hats off to those people that work at the centers, particularly when it's hot like this out there, because it's and
I think a lot of people are good to them.
They are, and but
bring them. I bring them coffee.
Oh, do you? In the heat? You don't bring them iced tea?
Don't bring a Gatorade?
Gatorade, something.
I bring them some water and some Sprite. I mean, you see me walk in. I had all this from McDonald's. I got out of McDonald's for $1.09. I come out with a large cup of coffee, a Happy Meal for Jackson, and another Coca-Cola here, and all that for $1.09 because I use the McDonald's app.
Oh, okay.
You don't know about that stuff, do you?
No, I know.
So you're a big fancy doctor, so you don't worry about stretching a dollar.
I'll go to Sonic.
I'll video this one day. I'm going to let you really hear it all, how it goes down.
Yeah. You got to be frugal. Well, I know.
Hey, Mike.
You got to be frugal.
Let me interject. So you mentioned the districts and Brian's comment about his being the whole eastern side. But districts are set up by population, right?
Yes.
So for people that
Roughly
don't
70.
understand that, it's because your district geographically just has a wider, bigger area with less people.
Yeah, so each district's about 75,000 people, and so the fastest growing part of the state is the eastern half of Nolensville, that area. The western half of Rutherford County and the eastern half of Williamson County is the fastest growing area, and so that was when we redistricted. That became a new district.
The Rockville, Blackman area.
Yeah, that area, and so that area is by far the fastest, but Rutherford County obviously is growing.
I mean,
but,
Laverne's about built out in a sense.
Yeah.
Their city limit, their boundaries are. And we've still got a little bit of area. Almaville Road is growing. That corridor
that
going
area's-
over
that area's
to the
just-
Blackman area, just growing so fast and all.
So each of you represent 75,000 residents.
70.
Yeah,
69,
75,
71.
yeah.
70,000 residents
Yeah.
Yeah.
are you're beholden to.
Absolutely.
You work for those 70,000 in your district as well as our county as a whole.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so it's and then but we don't just we represent our districts, but obviously you go up to the state and you're taking votes that impact not just
Yeah.
your district, the county,
Memphis
the
to Mountain
cities.
City.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're
It really, it shocked me, and I know that a lot of folks be like, "Man, don't you know Tennessee?" So Tennessee is really 3 states in one. I mean, I didn't believe it till I heard Ron Ramsey say, if you tip Tennessee up, you could reach Canada before you would Memphis from Mountain City.
Yeah, it's I mean it's wide apart, and therein lies the issue. Is like on some bills that we have that you want to get passed. If it's specific for your county, they say no, you need to make it do something to touch all 3 grand divisions. Particularly if you have an appropriation.
Yeah.
If you want to get something through
You're right.
appropriations, you have to have something.
It's hard.
If you're going to do pilot programs of some sort, you probably need to want to have a pilot program in one city.
Yeah.
In each
Well, we
grand
try to do
division
that
or
with the
something.
chess appropriation with with Rob Mitchell's been very involved with, but our prison budget's doubled. It's grew $600 million since I got elected, so we've got to reach these young people to make better decisions, critical thinking skills. And we're going to try it again, but we were trying to get a Memphis school in there and Signal Mountain, because the chairman's from down there, and then we've got Charlie Baum up here that's vice chairman, to kind of make it diverse like that, to where it could have an appeal like that across appeal. But it really is a challenge. But that's where it's almost. I used to hear it was rural versus urban. It seems like you think it's kind of getting that way again, maybe?
Oh,
because we're growing so fast, and
we're outnumbered.
others want growth.
Yeah.
And they're losing population.
Yeah, we're outnumbered, and so if we try to put an appropriation for because of our growth or whatever, trying to get $10 million for whatever, and there's 20 other representatives in rural areas that they want that money to have roads, they can have industry come in, and so. It's if Jack Johnson and William Lambert, the
leaders.
majority of the leaders in the Senate and the House, if they're running bills and they can't get it for growth counties,
yeah,
then there's a problem.
And they're running bills for the administration for Governor Bill Lee. Going back on Frank Capon, I know his wife's going to call in here in a few, and it may be good if we go ahead and knock out a quick break, Jackson. But y'all think about what you want to say about Frank, and I believe Laura should be calling in here in just a few minutes. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps. But I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance Policy Perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available at select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliates.
Dr. Automotive Auto Repair and Maintenance Mechanic Shop Garage provides car owners in Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Laverne, and the Middle Tennessee area with excellent auto repair services. Deep-rooted experience in serving both foreign and domestic automobiles allows for proper diagnosis in a timely manner. Check them out online at autorepairsmyrna.com, call them at 615-220-0971, or stop on in at 1205 Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna.
Hello and buenos dias. I'm Lisette Lopez, your bilingual real estate agent at Keller Williams Murfreesboro. I specialize in helping you make informed decisions that align with your goals. I'm offering free classes from how to fix your credit to investing to create generational wealth. Start your real estate journey with Lisette Lopez today. Call me at 954-552-4932. The number again is 954-552-4932. Or browse my website at lopezsellstn.kw.com. Thank you.
FFI is Middle Tennessee's premier choice for pest, wildlife, and moisture control. They specialize in those difficult and unique cases. You can reach them by phone at 615-300-2395. That's 615-300-2395. Or stop in at 200 Glenrose Lane in Smyrna.
Hey, Middle Tennessee, it's Mark from the Safe House. And now the security riddle of the day. What's less secure than a fake safe from a big box or furniture store? Joe Biden's fake border policy, of course. But hey, there is good news. This time next year, Joe Biden will not be president. So drop by the Safe House and check out the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. Build a wall around your valuables with a safe from the Safe House. We have certified delivery crews to deliver and install your safe. Don't let a crackhead or illegal deliver your safe. With over 30 years in the safe business, the Safe House is the place to buy a safe in Tennessee. So go to NashvilleSafeHouse.com.
Hey, we're back. Conversation with Mike Sparks. We're going to talk about the life and legacy of our late friend Frank Caperton. I've got Laura Caperton, Frank's widow, on the line. Laura, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for calling in, especially at, well, I think I mentioned to you, what was it? Was it yesterday or today?
It was yesterday.
Good. How you been doing?
Been doing pretty good.
Yeah. Now, what?
Working.
Well, was it you? Somebody told me, or maybe it was you, that Frank had like 26,000 photos of like Rutherford County and people, and is that true?
Pretty much, yeah. Of course, I still got his computer and hard drive and everything, so.
Wow. He was.
And he does have a Flickr account that I still have control over, so, yeah.
So folks can visit that and see a lot of the photos then?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, and so you would just go to Flickr and type in Frank Caperton?
Yeah, I think it may be under DSTN INC.
Okay.
I'd have to look at it. I can let you know, though.
Yeah. Text it or post it maybe on Facebook,
Yeah.
That I think that morning I may have told you, I had texted him that morning. I happened to find, he was a Vanderbilt fan, so I happened to find him. I happened to see a hat, a Vanderbilt had it at Goodwill, and I bought it, and it had been sitting in my car for a while, and I thought, man, I need to let Frank know I got this hat for him. So I texted him that morning and said, hey, I got your early birthday present. I didn't even know when his birthday was.
It's October.
Was it? And I said, I got an early birthday present, and then Brian Barrett with WGNS had called me and said, hey, man, Frank passed away, and it was just a shocker to everyone, and but he just really, I was thinking about him the other day, and how the Lord used him to connect me with so many people. Randy Allen, I think, is one of them. Andrew Farr, that's going to call in. Bill Wilson, and so Edith Moore, she's going to call in. Remember he wanted to save her old home place out Old Nashville Highway, and he would go out there. You remember he'd go out there. What do you call it? One of them sling blades and help.
Oh, he would
cut that
sling blade anything.
And dedicate. I mean, out there in the hot sun. I mean, we went out there with some chainsaws. My buddy Kelly Butler went out there with, I bet we had $1,000 worth of equipment out there. Cleaned up the front. I'm sure it's it's all grown back now. But Edith wants to save that old property, and my understanding, it was built. Her grandfather was the son of a slave, and hand built that property out there, and she's in the process of getting her 501c3, I believe, done, but I always appreciate his efforts with the African American Heritage Society. He's one that introduced me to Dr. George Smith, Mary Watkins, Pastor Jerry Whedon over there at Ebenezer Baptist Church, and he just had a true heart for the community. But I'm sure you've had hundreds of people tell you that.
He did not like to see any old houses torn down.
Yes, and we're certainly tearing down a lot of them with all the growth,
Yeah.
But that old house of Edith's, there's a video out there. I think it's called Mel Malone on YouTube. Mel Malone, Rutherford County, or Mel Malone, Stones River Battlefield. You know, yeah. But I'd like to get that Flickr account out there, and just because I mean, there's no telling who all's in those pictures. What is there a favorite picture you have that Frank took?
He started taking a lot of just flower pictures, and out here when we moved out here on Sharpsville Road, and he was taking sunset pictures and sunrise pictures. He was just getting really good at the landscape type photography.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, after he passed away, the back wall of my office here at the house, because I work at home, is all pictures that he took. And there's pictures of the St. Louis Arch, because we had just gone to St. Louis. There's pictures of sunflowers. There's pictures of Sam Davis home. There's, of course, a picture of the courthouse on my wall. And then, of course, pictures of the kids and the grandkids.
Well, what's the one picture that he took? Because somebody was Randy may know this one. The one of the cupola of the courthouse, and somebody was either offering to pay him for it or something. I don't know if it was a newspaper reached out to him or some media outlet. Do you know what?
There may have been. There were a lot of those.
Yes.
He had a lot of pictures of the courthouse.
Well, the one picture that I think was one of the best is the picture when we had Governor Bill Lee in at the TCAT in Smyrna, and it's Bill Lee and Commissioner Brad Turner's daughter, Kinsley, and then Allison Dempsey Burnham's daughter, Charlotte, that are both special needs children, and they're in the wheelchair with Bill Lee. To me, that was kind of like one of those Tennessee iconic photos.
He always did not want to catch you smiling at the camera. He wanted to catch you being you.
Exactly.
He wanted to catch the real person.
Well, I'm going to pull up some of these. There it is. There's that photo. Yeah. There's one of Spencer Hahn. His dad was killed in Iraq, and fortunately, the road was named out front after his son. So I see a picture of him, Colonel Jim Reed.
Yeah, all the stuff with Clifton.
Yes, Braunwater. Yes, he did those. If folks don't know Clifton, he was the young Boy Scout that was changing the tire for his mom and was struck and killed by the girl under the influence. And we were able to name that section of interstate after Clifton. And,
right.
Yeah, and that was deserving, by the way. You always got a critic or a hater that's doesn't want you to name a road after a veteran or a bridge after a veteran, someone that's fallen. I've seen a few. There's luckily only 2 or 3 haters like that. But I'm looking at a picture of J.T. Cooper, Marty Luffman, Anna King. Anna had a stroke about a year ago, lost her speech. She's getting it back. Colonel Jimmy Reed, he just retired, and Mary Esther Reed here, and so many other photos in these pictures. There's David Gammon, Bill Ketron, Joe Gurley, just Brian Terry, Donna Barrett here. I mean, just bukus of photos, man. I mean, what'd you say, 26,000 of them?
I think so.
Wow.
I haven't counted them. There's also family pictures on there, vacations and trips that we've taken.
Yes.
The one funny thing, when Frank and I, the first year we were married, right when we found out we were pregnant with Emily,
yeah,
we took a trip to Scotland, a bus tour. It was with my parents, all around Scotland, which was, he had a blast.
Yeah.
Took all the pictures, and came back. Well, last summer, our daughter Emily got to go back to Scotland. She did a study abroad in England, in London, and so she took a trip up to Scotland. She actually took some of his ashes and put them at the Edinburgh Castle.
Really?
Up there, yeah.
That's cool. Wow,
And
that's cool.
I went with her for about a week, and we also put some at the Tower of London, which was kind of poetic there.
Well, you know,
But, yeah.
my mother, you know, is from Edinburgh, Scotland. She was born at the bottom of the castle right there. It's called the Grass Market. We got to visit the area. Yeah, they grew up real poor. But that yeah, that's really that's really pretty neat. Well, it was a well attended funeral and celebration of life. So he put me in touch with the late Dr. George Smith. You know, if you remember George Smith, and you know, George Smith's last words to me were, I had a fundraiser at Sam Davis Home. He was on the board. I think he was board trustees, and I didn't realize he'd been battling cancer. And he kind of whispered over to me, he said, "Sparks, I'm gonna get you a check," like that. And then Frank called me a few weeks later. He's a man, his cancer's come back. He ain't got long to live. And we recognized him on the house floor. There's a video of it for a moment of silence, and the late Dr. George Smith passed that next morning. So that's where an instance that God used Frank. Edith Moore, the Lord used Frank. I probably wouldn't be giving some of these commercials away for the VFW if it wasn't for Frank. I wouldn't be sitting here with Randy Allen if it wasn't for Frank. I mean, Bill Wilson. I remember him telling me about Bill Wilson. I was looking for Bill's number, see if Bill wanted to call in, and he's like, "Hey man, he's really a great guy." And he said, "I know what you're thinking. Like, who's going to call himself Mr. Murfreesboro like that?" You know, and I thought, who would do that? And he says, he's a great guy. And then he insisted I had to pronounce Andrew Farr's name right. He kept emphasizing, he said, "Hey man, it's Farr, like far away, not Farrah. It's Farah." And I'm like, "Okay, dude, I get it, man." He's just wearing me out with it, you know? But yeah, well, Laura, is there anything the community can do for you? You need any help with anything?
I do not. I will put a plug out there. Last December, I had a group from Both Hands organization. They raise money, help couples raise money for adoption. I had Chris and Brian Beal out here doing a project in December. They cleaned out some of the stuff, you know, that we had moved, stuff that needed to just be tossed, stuff that needed, you know, donate, and organize some stuff for me. And they were able to bring home their son about a month ago. They raised $35,000 for their adoption.
Wow.
And they were able to bring home their second son this past month.
Can folks still adopt? Can folks still contribute to that?
Not specifically to theirs, but if you go to bothhands.org, there are a lot of couples on there that are raising funds for adoption and projects, and they specifically help widows.
Yes, bothhands.org. Okay. Well, I think we've got Andrew Farah, not Farah, going to call in here in a second. I don't know if he's on hold or not, but if you can listen in to folks. I know we don't have but an hour airtime to really dedicate to Frank, but my wife, she noticed it yesterday. It was, the memory popped up, and we both talked about how much we miss him. And you know, another thing, he introduced me to Bracken Mayo. That's what led to legislation cutting taxes off newspapers. See, what people don't realize is there's no lobbyists for individuals. It's only for big giant corporations and big money people. And that's what led to the tax cut off small newspapers. Frank was instrumental in helping that get done, and so was Bracken Mayo for that. And Frank was really a voice for folks. He didn't care if you're black, white, Democrat, or Republican or anything.
He was the voice for the small business owner.
He was, and see, that's what we were talking about. He said, did he ever tell you what happened? Did he ever tell you that story? Did he ever share that?
Probably.
We were riding to Bracken Mayo's office, and he says, I want to start a computer business. I said, man, you don't start no computer business, dude. I said, you don't want all that overhead. I said, I've been through all that stuff. It's just challenging, you know, in these times. I said, you need to barter with Larry Sims like that for office space. We walk into Bracken's office, and I said, Bracken, how many square feet you got here? I got 220. He says, you know, I barter with Larry Sims for office space. Frank goes, man, that's weird. Mike just said that in the truck. He said, Mike, I've read your book. I said, but I don't mention office space, and I don't mention Larry Sims in the book. It really was a God wink moment. I mean, that's why I wanted to get Frank and Bracken on the air to share it, because they witnessed this phenomenon play out. It truly is a God wink moment. And so he told me, he said, it's not fair, I have to pay taxes, but the Tennessean doesn't pay tax. Big papers don't pay tax, but I'm a small business, I can pay taxes. And on printing, so we run the bill, and it came back not significant, which is a miracle because it was significant. And I had an attorney look at me. He said, man, how did you do this? How did you get this done? I said, man, I prayed about it. He goes, no, man, for real. I said, man, we prayed about this, man. And it put some money in his pocket, put it that way. I won't say how much, but not just him, but it helped other newspapers that really, that's a tough business. So it really helped a lot of them statewide. But the name of that adoption agency again that you say to donate to?
Bothhands.org.
Bothhands.org. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Laura. I think Randy wanted to say a word or two.
I just want to tell you how much, we really, I'm the president of the Rotary Club now, the Murfreesboro Rotary Club, that Frank was a member of. And we really enjoyed you visiting us. Back, it's probably been a year ago, a little over a year ago now, but you're always welcome to come. We miss Frank. A lot of us tear up when we talk about him. It's taken us a long time to get comfortable, and I don't think we can ever be whole, but to get comfortable with his passing, and so just wanted you to know how much he was loved, how much we appreciate his service to our community, and invite you back whenever you're available.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, don't hang up, Laura. I've got my buddy Roger Thomas here that is a caretaker over at Sam Davis Home. Want to say a word too.
I'm actually a tour guide, but that's
well, we
but I do take the trash out too. But anyway, Laura, I think one of the last events he did before he passed, me and Mr. Allen was talking about it a little earlier, was the wine on the veranda at his Sam Davis Home, and he was also on the board out there. I mean, and people didn't realize that, but that's where I met Randy, and but like I said, right shortly after that, and I think I introduced him to Carl Boyd, different people around, that he could help out a little bit. But one thing it did for me, what I always remember, is my son passed away about 4 years ago, and I found some old tapes, VHS, and he put them on DVDs for him, and I got them on my phone. So it's I've always got that. So he did it properly, did an awesome job. So anyway, I thank him for that, and thank you for that. Okay.
You're welcome.
Jackson. Jeremy, you got anything? You never got to meet Frank, did you?
I did not know him. Actually, let me look up a picture of him real quick, because I actually think you said he was a photographer too.
Yeah.
Did he ever do photography for any schools, have them do pictures for picture day or something?
Did he do some of that, Laura?
No.
He didn't. Okay, all right. Because I just thought he looked familiar. I thought he was one of those who did that. But yeah.
Well,
no, I did not know him.
Laura, did you ever get to read that story? I call it the Troy Ross story that we did about Troy Ross over in Smyrna. Frank did those photos too.
Yes.
And Troy was just interviewed by Carrie Farr. Carrie's got a show called In Your Corner, and I think there's a movie with Troy's story there. It's about the old Britton barn that Sally Walls grew up at, and it ties into Justin Bashir, who's a true craftsman, but he really did make an impact on this community. Well, thank you, Laura, for calling in. Okay.
No problem.
All right, have a great one now.
Okay, you too.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
I think did Andrew call in yet? Okay, he hadn't called in. He's supposed to be calling in. But yeah, I think Frank's one that put me in touch with you, Randy.
Yeah.
Y'all's Rotary Club, and y'all got some kind of pancake thing y'all do?
Hot Cakes and Holly.
Yep.
In December. Every year. And so that's where he took that picture. It's at MTCS, and that's where he took that picture of Brian. And I'll tell you an interesting story. In 2020, when I was getting my campaign rolling, and Frank and I were together quite a bit, I got to we were doing a legislative reception up at the Capitol for all the legislators, and so Frank. I asked Frank. They needed a photographer. I asked Frank if he could go. He said, "Sure. Can I ride with you?" And I said, "Okay, but I don't know.
You riding that truck?
Yeah.
Well, that's 300,000 miles.
He said, "I'll meet you at Kroger." So I pulled up and met him at Kroger. We took off to Nashville, and I got to spend about maybe 6 or 7 solid hours with Frank.
Yeah.
From him doing his work, and so I noticed that the name tags were laid out for the legislators, on the table, so we could tell who was coming in. You were in a committee.
Okay.
But anyway, Frank, people weren't showing up.
Yeah.
And next thing I knew, people started showing up.
Yeah.
And I said, "What's going on?" And Frank was taking a picture of that name tag and contacting those legislators individually and saying, "Look, where are you? Get over here." And they were just starting to file in because he had all their cell numbers.
Yeah.
So
he really had a heart for folks. I think we've got a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Hi, this is Edith Moore in Memphis with the Mel Malone Family Foundation in Murfreesboro. How are you all?
Doing good, doing good. I know I got you at the last. Was you taking a nap when I called you earlier?
Yeah. Big day at church, heavy dinner.
Well, I know that home has meant a lot to you, your old home place. Tell us about Frank making an impact and you on your efforts to try to save that old home.
Well, what Frank did was when we started this years ago, we didn't have a lot of publicity. Plus, we didn't have the internet the way it is now with Google and all that. So Frank helped us to maximize the visibility of it. And how he did that was he started going around making photos and helping me to get in touch with different reporters who was on the Murfreesboro Daily Journal.
Yep.
And I can't remember the first guy's name, but he also had passed, but he was instrumental in getting us the
Jason Reynolds. Yeah, Jason Reynolds, Murfreesboro Post.
Right. Oh, Murfreesboro Post, okay. And Jason started interviewing us and going around to different points of interest, and he was the first one that Frank got to help us to kind of like mass introduce the project to the people in Rutherford County. So
yes,
that was instrumental, and he held my hand and my family's hand throughout, trying to tell us how to properly, select people to work with us, and I mean he was just a guide. He was.
Edith, tell folks about that property, why it means so much to you.
Well, I am a very proud third generation from slave-free descendant.
Yeah.
And the reason why that property is important because the whole community of Cemetery was one of the first freedmen's communities in the state of Tennessee. And what that means is that those people who had been enslaved on that land in that area, most of them fought in 2 different divisions of the Civil War for the Union, the 110th and the 111th Colored Divisions of the Union Army. And they fought for that land. They had been enslaved on that land. They helped to free that land in that area in the Battle of Murfreesboro. So our blood is in that land. Our hearts are there. And us Malones, we are still, a lot of us are still living on that land. So the land that my grandfather had, who was the son of Sanders Malone, who fought in the 111th, he built that house with his own hands from homemade concrete.
Yeah.
He cut the timbers off of the land and made the post to hold the house up. And so it what it is, it's not so much our heritage, but it's our character and the strength that he gave the next generations to be sustainable for themselves, be accountable for themselves. And he had a motto that as long as you own your land, you can eat on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, eat from it.
Yeah.
Live on it. Be buried in it. Never to be a slave again.
If folks don't know what I'm talking about, I guess the best way, growing up, we knew that as what was it called to the left? Something. Oh man, my mind went blank. Across from the gravel pit over there, past Stones River Battlefield, on the way to Smyrna, on the right, and to the left was the. It was like an old motel type. What was that called?
Travis Courts.
Travis Courts.
Travis Courts. Now.
Yep.
A little history on that gravel pit. That land was owned by the Clarks.
Okay. Now that was Bo Washington's family. Was that Bo's family?
No. Clarence Clark, the Clarks.
Okay.
That lived there, and Joe Clark and Joe Clark and my grandmother Nora, and my
Casey Clark. So that's Casey Clark's family.
Casey, right? He's part of our family.
Okay.
And that I was born, and several of my siblings were born on top of that rock quarry, because that was Clark's land, and Daddy couldn't keep gardens growing, so he sold it to a family called the Bibbles.
Okay.
And but that whole area was 85. Now this is a thing that really puts pride in my heart when I think about what's going on today with people being so dependent upon governments and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
The ones that fought in the 110th and 111th, which was part of the Washingtons and Clarks and all of them, they had nothing.
Yeah.
They had just been freely freed. But they eventually, and Frank helped me to, and Mr. Lodell at the historical
John Lodell,
John Lodell helped us find these records. They had once been enslaved people on the majority of that land.
Cemetery community, yeah.
Right.
Well, the school. Go ahead.
Okay, that's another story. But by the 1880s, the ex-enslaved individuals owned 85% of the land that they had been enslaved on.
Wow. Yeah, near.
Talk about dirt.
And if folks don't know what we're talking about near the Stones River Battlefield, north of Thompson Lane. Tell us about the old school across the street that still stands today. You know, we've been trying to help with that, get some money in the budget. It is difficult, but I got to get people to rally behind me. I can't. It's hard for me to do this on my own. So you've tried.
I've talked to Senator Osbury. They're out of session.
And you talked to the Black Caucus chairman. What's his name that I had you on the phone with this year? My mind went blank.
From Knoxville.
Yeah, great guy. I think he's going to help.
Right.
But we got to get people to continue to wear this thing out. And somebody made the comment to me, like, what historical value does that have? I don't know if they're being sarcastic or what, but it's like, what's...
No, for lack of knowledge, the lack of knowledge.
Yes.
They don't know the history.
Yes, exactly.
And they really don't know the history. And see, that's the other thing, too. I hear this, they won't tell our history. We are the they that has to tell our own history.
Amen. Well, we got to get Angela. You need to come up. Angela Bingham's going to be coming in here next 12 minutes. You need to come up here at Rutherford County, come on her show one night, and then come up on Action Line. And Edith, we got to take a quick break. If folks want more information, where do they go on YouTube to know more about that old area right there and your family heritage and what you want to do?
Okay, they can go on the Mel Malone Historical Family Foundation on YouTube.
All right.
Okay. They can call they can call Dr. Whedon at the Ebenezer Primitive Baptist Church.
And Jerry's on Facebook. He just had a tree fall on his car a couple days ago. I've seen that. Great guy.
Right. And they also can go down to talk to Mr. Jim Lewis.
Yep. He's been supportive.
Yep. I know that man very well, ma'am.
Oh, he's been a great support to us.
He has.
And before Dr. Smith passed, and before my sister passed, we made sure that all of our documentation history has been archived at the center. And I would like to come back on and tell y'all the great history of that school.
Well, we need to do it. We'll do one. When are you going to come back up Rutherford County?
when I get an invite.
You remember what you told me after they had all that fake news on me? We'll just save that for another day. You want to do that?
Yeah, we'll do
Man,
that for another
hey, the Lord, let me tell you, the Lord used you on that right there. Man, that was so cool. That's where George Smith was at. Remember we walked up, we were singing Amazing Grace, and I think then Dr. Smith looked at me, wanted me to say a few words as well. It was written by slave ship captain John Newton. John Newton influenced the lawmaker William Wilberforce to free the slaves 34 years before we did, without firing a shot, by the way. You know, we lost 650,000 young men, and really, 30,000 of them was right around here that died over that. Well, thank you. We're going to take a quick break. Thank you, Edith. I'll get you up here for a whole show one night, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, but please contact me, and I really do need the officials in Murfreesboro to get behind us.
Yes.
Because not only is it historical value to Murfreesboro, but it could also be an economic value to Murfreesboro.
Commissioner Romel McMurray, we need to get him on board. I'll reach out to him, okay?
All right.
Thank you. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps, but I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Hello and buenos dias. I'm Lisette Lopez, your bilingual real estate agent at Keller Williams Murfreesboro. I specialize in helping you make informed decisions that align with your goals. I'm offering free classes from how to fix your credit to investing to create generational wealth. Start your real estate journey with Lisette Lopez today. Call me at 954-552-4932. The number again is 954-552-4932. Or browse my website at lopezsellstn.kw.com. Thank you.
When I say VFW, you probably have some visions of a smoke-filled bar with a bunch of old-timers eyeballing you. Well, the Stones River VFW is doing things different. No smoke-filled rooms, no turning prospective members away, and a strong emphasis on camaraderie and community. We believe in instilling our American values in our young people through numerous programs such as Voice of Democracy, Patriots Pen, Scout of the Year, and VFW Teacher of the Year. Stones River Post intends on becoming a driving force to help, aid, and assist wartime veterans. So if you're one of those veterans with a campaign medal and you want that sense of purpose that you've been missing, then give our recruiter, Andrew Farr, a call at 615-490-5715.
Hi, this is Allie Dowenhauer with Isaiah 117 House. Isaiah 117 House provides physical and emotional support for children awaiting foster care placement here in Rutherford County. We are changing the way foster care begins, and those kiddos are brought to our house to hang out and wait for a foster family, and they're given everything they need. We support foster children, DCS, and foster families here in Rutherford County. Visit us at www.isaiah117house.com or visit our Facebook page, Isaiah 117 House, Rutherford County.
All right, we're back. Conversation Mike Sparks. Randy has another famous photo, but he doesn't want to talk about it. I'm going to put you on the spot. What's the photo about?
It was just Frank and I.
You and Brett Garner.
And Brett Garner had been over at doing something. And
at a wig shop.
Yeah.
At a wig shop.
We stepped outside, and I said, hey, Frank, take a picture of me and Brett. So he did. He took a picture of us standing on the porch of this business.
A wig shop.
And when we backed up, when I saw the picture, it was like, hey, I've been in a wig shop.
Was you looking for a wig? You come here wearing a wig.
I was looking for a rug.
Oh, rug.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
What were you doing over there? I was window shopping.
Yeah, that is funny. But he really left a legacy. I think we've got a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
It's Andrew Farr. How are you?
Doing
Randy,
good, brother.
how are you?
Hey, Andrew.
It's Farr, not Farrah, correct?
Up north they pronounce it Farr, but down here it's Fair, and we are cousins. Yes,
cousins. You know, I told you when I first met you, Frank had you come up on the radio, and we done a show, and he insisted that I make sure it was Farr, not Farrah. I mean, he said it like 5 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I get it, man. I understand. You know, I didn't know if you got your feelings hurt or something.
Mike, Randy, they've been misspelling and mispronouncing our name since 1066.
Wow.
So I'm kind of used to it.
Well, tell us. You know, I know Frank was, connected you with a lot of folks. Just talk about Frank for a little bit.
Frank, actually, it's funny. Katrina, my wife, and I were talking about Frank on the way back from Sewanee today, visiting my mom, and she was bringing up some pictures of Frank that he had taken. And Frank was a great man. He was a good soul.
Yes.
He really looked out for veterans. He loved veterans. He actually was there when we founded our post, VFW 12206 in Murfreesboro. He was there to take all the pictures. He was an auxiliary member. He loved helping us out in any way, shape, or form. He is truly missed, and I love the man. I really did. I remember having breakfast with him at the City Cafe, at least on numerous occasions, and he had a spirit that was unlike anyone that I've ever met.
Yes, yes. I should have asked Laura. If I'm not mistaken, his late mother was, I believe, a sheriff's deputy who was killed in line of duty. Is that right?
That's right.
Y'all ever heard that?
Yeah.
That's
I have not. That's new.
Yeah,
to
Randy
me.
said it's true.
I think it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember something about that. I remember him talking about that.
He was from Santa Fe, not Santa Fe. Santa Fe.
That's right.
Santa Fe. Yes, that's right.
He always told me make sure I pronounce it right.
I was Frank invited me to come to Andrew's pancake breakfast over at the Masons Lodge one morning, and I didn't know Andrew, and I didn't know anything about this organization, and Frank, I told Frank, I said, I don't know who Andrew is. Point him out to me. He said, you don't know Andrew? And I said, no. He said, well, Andrew's great, but Katrina is the one you really need to meet. She's your.
No. Yeah, I'm okay.
You good with that?
My wife is. She's got a heart of gold, and she says the same thing about you, Randy. She likes you a whole lot too.
Yeah. Well, one thing I was telling somebody this, and I'm not saying it sounds a bit disrespectful. Frank was probably not a guy you're going to see on the front row of the Church of Christ or the back row of the Baptist Church. I mean, I know he was a Christian, he was a believer, but I think a lot of times we expect someone who's super polished, some deacon that's really going to make a difference.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you that guy connected, like Edith. Me and Edith wouldn't. Well, we wouldn't have been friends if it wasn't for Frank, because he invited me to that African American Heritage Society. Yeah. And instead of me going out hanging out with Randy Boyd at MTSU, Randy's a billionaire, by the way, president of UT. He's like, man, come over here and hang out with us. And I was like, all right. And it was really, it's like the Lord just provided. Well, thank you, Andrew, for calling in about that. Okay.
Hey, Mike, no problem. Anytime, sir.
Take care, brother. We'll see you.
See you, Randy. Bye, Mike.
See ya.
Take care. Jeremy, you want to talk about some events?
Yeah, real quick. It's the last week or the last few days before it. I was going to plug it, just get a real big push of it. If you haven't seen it, being advertised at Henry Horton State Park, we have our first annual Duck River Outdoor Expo. Come on out. We're going to have a lot of cool things for y'all to look at. We're going to have a beer. Food, live
drink
music
or something? Do you keep talking about beer? You're the drummer at my church, man.
Hey, I am not at liberty to say on the air, but but yeah, come on out to Henry Horton State Park on the 12th through the 14th.
All right. Well, thank you, Randy Allen. Thank you, Jeremy Smithson. Thank you, Roger Thomas, and our callers, and to the life and legacy of Frank Caperton. Just remember Frank Caperton, and like they always say, an image is worth a picture's worth 1,000 words. He left thousands of images, thousands of pictures. Thank you, Jackson, for helping us. Okay, see y'all next week.